Live now to Sky's Charlotte Lomas, who's at the family home in Claygate in Surrey. And Charlotte, a lot of police activity then at the house today, and now we're told they've turned their attention to a safe inside.
That's right. Well, as you can see, the activity now has wound down here this evening, but there remains a police cordon here and a police presence outside the property. Earlier on, we did see specialist police officers bringing in power tools onto the property here. That included a power converter, a generator, a sledgehammer, and they were being used to try and gain access to a safe that was found here at the property during an extensive search, which now includes the garden and the outbuildings here as well as the house here. And the focus is now on trying to open that safe and gain access. A tent has been put up to allow the police here to carefully examine anything they do find. And after a couple of dramatic hours earlier on, when the Army bomb disposal unit was brought in, the activity has been suspended for the evening. It is of course ongoing, and the search will continue first thing tomorrow morning, where the attention will be to try and open that safe, where hopefully it will shed some light on this investigation and give some clues to the mystery that still surrounds those deaths. Yes, well, with every day there's more allegations, more details, more information emerging. We have heard that Derek Chinnery, who was the BBC Radio 1 controller, did approach Jimmy Savile. He questioned him then back in the late 1970s, early 1980s about reports of suspected child abuse. Jimmy Savile denied these claims, and Mr Chinnery said that he left it at that and that he had no reason not to believe that Jimmy Savile was telling the truth. But obviously this does beg the question, how many of the BBC staff were aware of these allegations, and if they did know, why was action not taken before?
Well, they've said that they found some serious flaws and errors in the way they've carried out this franchise process. Been very damning words from the government, and they say that they lack a proper quality assurance. I'll just read you a quick statement from the Transport Secretary, Patrick McLaughlin, new in his post, of course. "I've had to cancel the competition," he says, "for the running of the West Coast franchise because of deeply regrettable and completely unacceptable mistakes made by my department in the way it managed the process." And we believe that there will now be 2 independent reviews into exactly what happened and to find out where these flaws were made. And essentially that means that we don't exactly know who will be running the trains when the contract expires in December the 9th. The criminal complaint will be filed to the French prosecutor, and it will be then up to him to decide whether to investigate and pursue the matter. And if so, they will then look at exactly how the photographs were taken and obtained, and if the photographer did break the strict French law on invasion of privacy. So the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are taking this matter very seriously indeed. Not only are they seeking a legal injunction and damages against the French magazine Closer, but they're also now filing a criminal complaint against the paparazzi photographer, showing other publications that they are willing to take a stand and take action to try and prevent further photographs being published. The headlines are united and echo the strong protest from the palace. Not one British newspaper has published the photos of Kate, even though it's thought they were offered them. Why? Many believe that unlike the naked snaps of Prince Harry, which were taken on a mobile phone, these photos taken by paparazzi while the couple were on a private holiday in a private hotel were obviously breaking the rules. It's a very high-profile case that's attracted attention from across the world, not only because of the two men involved and also the dealings of so much money, but people being able to get that rare insight into the life of Russian business and businessmen. These 2 oligarchs made their money after the collapse of the Soviet Union in very murky 1990s Russia, and they were able to make money very quickly. And we were able, because of the court, the way it was played out here in London, to get a rare insight into how that happened.
What more can you tell us about what happened?
Well, the 2 women were visiting this nature reserve as part of a guided tour. They were a group of 7. There were 5 foreign tourists. There were 2 Ecuadorian tourists and 2 Ecuadorian guides. These 2 women were the only 2 to be kidnapped, and they are believed now to be in a good condition after being rescued. We understand that the joint venture is purely commercial and that Richard Desmond has no editorial control over the Irish Daily Star, and it looks like that he's considering now pulling out of his partnership in Ireland. It's thought they were trying to capture a perfect family photograph.
despite warnings not to swim in the sea and a red flag being raised on the beach because of the bad weather. 7-year-old Louis Selby took his place on these rocks. Minutes later, a wave dragged him into the sea. His father, George, lost his life as he struggled to rescue him. Local journalist Humphrey Carter knows the area well.
It's a very popular part of the island. I know the beach very well. It's beautiful. I can imagine the attraction there would have been of taking a picture with the waves crashing down, but it's such a shallow cala, shallow bay, that within 50 to 100 metres you're out in open sea. I've swum there in the summer, and they normally put a rope across to stop people getting out close to the open sea.
These 2 deaths are the latest in a series of drownings this summer. Last month, 5-year-old Lara Lewis was hit by a freak wave and dragged into the sea near the holiday resort of Nazaré in Portugal. Her grandfather, Brian O'Dwyer, tried to save her, but also drowned. Another British family holiday ending in tragedy. Charlotte Lomas, Sky News. After 4 pregnancies and years of failed diets, Sarah Lamas was struggling to lose weight. For a quick fix, she spent £8,000 on gastric band surgery. And now, 6 years on, she's 9.5 stone lighter. But she says that's only thanks to rescue treatment from another hospital after not getting enough support when she had her operation.
It's quite frightening when you've got this band inside you and you don't know what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. You've got paperwork in front of you, but sometimes it's just really nice to talk to somebody.
Without the care she needed, Sarah joined a rising number of patients having to go elsewhere to get help in making the right changes to stay healthy.
The support is absolutely key, and if patients don't have that, they're just not going to do well. They're going to feel totally lost if they don't know anybody else with a gastric band.
But not everyone is getting this full package of care. New research shows 32% of patients who had bariatric surgery did not receive an adequate follow-up. Only a third had psychological counselling prior to referral for surgery, and 18% of patients had to be readmitted to hospital. With obesity levels soaring in the UK, experts say surgery can often be an effective and successful way to lose weight, but only when the risks are properly assessed.
Patients need to know what they're letting themselves in for, and if they're having an operation, that needs to be part of an overall package of care supported by a team of multidisciplinary professionals, in particular specialist dietitians.
The number of people having gastric band operations in the UK has risen 30-fold in the last decade to reach more than 8,000 in 2011. For many, having a gastric band fitted can seem the ideal way to drop a dress size, but experts are keen to stress surgery is only part of the solution. Charlotte Lomas, Sky News.